the prologue at the time. Remember, rewind to the early 2010s.
Right.
It was a big trend at the time, specifically amongst the Latin filmmakers. Sam Mendes being one of them, Alfonso Cuarón, and Alejandro Iñárritu, and they're all friends, right? They were all spearheading the trend of my movie does single takes. My movie does single takes. And Children of Men, I mean, single takes have been a thing forever, but it really came into the 2000s with Children of Men, where it's like these long 5-6 minute action scenes with no cuts, no editing that were really impressive because they required some complex timing and all that. And so by the time you get to Spectre, Sam Mendes, who later did we mentioned 1917 in the last episode. 1917 was kind of where single takes died. In my opinion, it was because it was like, okay, we've gone too far. Sam Mendes is like, all his buddies are like, I did this single take and it was really impressive. I did this single take and it was really impressive. And he's like, F you guys, I made an entire movie that looks like it's all done in one take, and it's not good. I don't like 1917.
When an entire movie is locked into a single camera perspective with no grounding principle within the story, it just ends up being flashy for the sake of flash and loses the emotional power that editing provides, versus something like Birdman.
Birdman works because it kind of justifies the idea of doing this long take because it's about the theater. And the theater is all about people and just being in this open space and seeing everything as it's happening all at once versus cutting, which is the opposite of that's what movies do. And I think that works for that movie.
Yes, it was Birdman. Gravity's one. There's all these movies with single takes, and they're all these Latino filmmakers that are buddy-buddy. And then Sam Mendes is like, well, I'm going to do that with the next Bond movie I do. So he's like, how about I do a prologue it's not all a single take, but it's the opening shot is this single take that probably has some edits in there. There are moments where you can tell they
100%. I looked it up. Shots. They had to stitch it together.
Like when they go from outside to inside, that's clearly a moment where they did it.
I realized there was a problem with it. And my problem is it's not clever or it doesn't give justification for the use of a single take. And I think the movie could have been more clever, and it's not. And I say that because in a movie like this, I want to be asking the question constantly, what's he doing? What's he doing next? Why is he going over there? Why is he watching that guy? I want to be constantly asking that question. But instead, what the movie does is he follows the guy, he goes in an elevator, all of a sudden the camera pans away, and then he's out of his costume. He's like, where are you going? Oh, I got to come back. That's it. And I kind of rewatching it, I'm like, I feel like there's a more clever thing that they could have done with this. I think even if it was a single take, there's more of a clever, like James Bond, like is doing something or like following him or like he stops and he waits and then he goes this way or something. There could have been something a little more clever.
It's extremely flashy. And I swear back to the very first time that I watched the movie, I felt exactly what you said you're feeling now, which is this is a single take for the sake of it being a single take and not because it's servicing the story at that moment, which makes it bullshit. It's just Sam Mendes coming off the high of having made a very popular Bond film and being like, I'm going to just do the single take thing because I want to, because that is, I mean, we've talked about chasing trends so many times, and this is one of those instances where I'm like, yeah, they're just chasing trends and not for a good reason. This is just because at the time that, like I said, from Children of Men, where am I at? From Children of Men to 1917. 1917 is, I swear, the single take died after 1917. Other than cropping up in television shows here and there. I mean, even like It's Always Sunny did an episode that was a single take, and when I say that, it looks like a single take, but
it's the rope.
They hide
it's what
the
they
edits.
Did in Rope.
It's the rope. It's the rope. They hide the edits. And those are always fun, but you have to do it because the subject matter, that which is going on in the scene itself, all of the above is serviced by the single take. I mean, even like True Detective season 1 did a single take finale action sequence, and it serviced the tension going on. There's no tension in the opening of Spectre. it is purely style.
There's not a sequel. Yeah, there's
but
no,
it's
there's
not,
no like
I'm not
him running
impressed
around.
by
And you're
it
like,
at all.
is he gonna get caught by this? They're making out. They swap costumes. They keep following him. Like that would have been kind of neat. It's like, okay, we're with Bond in the mission, and we're seeing
No, I
how
like
he's
that. I like
going
that.
from
Now they're over
point
here.
A to
Now he
B.
traded his mask off for something else, and then they keep following the
And
guy.
now, like that would have been cool because then you're kind of seeing a progression. But it feels so flat, where he just goes up the elevator and changes out, and then he's like, "I'll be back." And then we go back to traditional reverse shot filmmaking, and it's like, what was that?
What was the point of that? If they messed it up, they would have had to have the parade go all the way back. Yeah, who cares? Like, who cares?
They spend the money to do that.
It's
who
not
cares?
impressive.
They would have done it.
If the entire thing was one take, that'd be wildly impressive. But the helicopter thing was not ever going to be one take.